Bob, we absolutely missed you at this event. There were a lot of people here who are obviously so appreciative of the work you've done to advance animal law in the law schools.
We'd invited Bob to be here so that he could see what his support had accomplished. We wanted him to see the faces of people whose lives he had impacted. And we wanted all of you to be able to thank him for what he's done.
Well, Bob Barker has been probably the single most important individual in terms of funding, certainly the most important individual in terms of animal law. His gifts have been incredibly important in terms of raising the level of discourse and the level of credibility of this subject.
Bob Barker is known to the animal rights movement as a longtime champion of the rights and protection of animals. In the last decade, he became known for something else, and that is someone who understands that the education of law students to advocate for animals is worthy of significant financial support.
Bob Barker has given substantial sums of money to fund animal law courses, and that caused Harvard to establish a lectureship called the Bob Barker Lectureship in Animal Law, and I have held that position a number of times. It's a wonderful privilege to be that lectureship, not only because of his insights, but because the dynamics in the class are, well, they're such that I'm constantly learning as well.
There's a lot of learning that needs to happen for people to appreciate what they can do to change the law in their state, to lobby their legislatures, to get behind a citizens' initiative to change the laws, to change the rules that will benefit the animals.
I've long believed that the road to success for the animal rights movement is through the legal community. We need to create and pass effective laws that will address widespread animal abuse that continues to exist. But we also need to assure that the laws, once enacted, are enforced and obeyed.
Yeah, I think the work that ALDF does is critical as far as bringing the laws to be stronger, have greater impact.
You need the very best lawyers. They need to be creative. They need to be ethical. They need to know the law. And I think ALDF puts all of that together in a way that makes the cases successful and ultimately, I think, works to the benefit of programs like ours.
There are ALDF chapters everywhere. This animal law conference, I'm always amazed. I came to one 5 years ago. I go to a number of these conferences. I regularly see the most talented students in the law schools at these things, utterly committed, totally devoted, want to make their life out of doing this.
It makes it worth it to wake up in the morning when you're doing something that is intellectually challenging and that is meaningful.
It is rare that so many scholars who are deeply devoted to animals are gathered together in one room as you are tonight. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you for the books you have written. I want to thank you for the words you have spoken, and I thank you for the direct action projects in which you have participated.
The ALDF is such an important organization, and you achieve so much, and it's so thrilling to be a part, even for a few minutes, of what you do.
I'm very proud that our school is collaborating with an entity that's bringing these kinds of cases, and it really has the very best animal law lawyers in the country.
Your scholarship has been a great source of strength in establishing the credibility of the animal rights movement, and all the rest of us in the movement will be forever grateful to you.
I mean, the Animal Legal Defense Fund and Joyce Tischler in particular, you know, we're standing on their backs or on their shoulders, as it were. And she wrote one of the first law review articles on animal legal rights issues, did some of the very first cases, and was, I think, one of the very first, if not the first people to see the possibility of lawyers, the role of lawyers, and the real, you know, path available for groundbreaking litigation, which ALDF has been involved in a number of different areas. So, you know, Joyce is one of the significant original thinkers of the whole movement.
Of course, in closing, if I were here, I would have to remind you to help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. So from all of us here, thank you, Bob Barker, and we wish you were here.
We were all grateful that you sent your remarks along, that Joyce Tischler read. Everyone loved that. So thank you for being here in spirit, and we're really sorry that you couldn't be here in person. But thanks so much.